Hello, today we are painting a turkey with acrylic paints. You will need a large and a medium flat brush and a small round brush for details. I'm using an 8 by 10 inch canvas panel, but any canvas around this size will work. You'll need a paint palette, a washcloth or paper towel, and a cup for water. For your acrylic paints, you will need black and white, brown. I'm going to use a dark brown and a light brown and mix the two, but even if you just have one brown, you can still follow along just using that one. The other colors you will need are red and yellow, and then green and blue for the background. Now this blue that I'm using has a lot of white already mixed into it. If you don't have a light blue like this, you can use a darker blue and just mix your own white into it for the sky in the background. Lastly, you will need a hair dryer so that in between the layers you can make sure everything is dry before trying to paint more on top of it. If you don't have one, you can still follow along. You'll just have to pause the video and wait for your canvas to dry in between those layers. So we're going to start off with our large flat brush and our light blue. Make a nice big pile on your palette. And then we're going to paint most of this canvas blue down to about here, leaving this bottom section for grass. So I'll start by just making a little line right across, right there where I want the sky to end. Just leave yourself plenty of room up here for your turkey. Only his feet are going to be in that grass, so you don't want the grass to take up too much space. So now I'm just going back and painting the whole thing blue, covering up all that white of the canvas. Make it nice and smooth. And then once that's completely covered, I'm going to rinse my paintbrush. And I'm going to get my green. All right. My brush isn't completely dry or clean. There's a little bit of blue still in there, but it's going to be all right. I'm just filling the rest of that in. I'm wiping the extra off my brush so I can come back through here and smooth this line up. I have a lot of paint built up right there at that spot where the blue meets the green, and I don't want there to be a raised spot. So taking my brush, going back over, getting that all smooth, and then I'm going back again to fix that line. All right. Smoothing it all out. And we're going to get the hair dryer and dry this off. Also rinse your brush. Now that that is dry, just getting this all cleaned off. And the first color I'm going to use to paint the turkey is brown. I'm going to make a dark brown with, I'm going to mix this dark brown with a little bit of my lighter brown. And then I'm going to make a pile of the light brown next to that. I'm also going to get some white, make a pile of that here. And then with my medium-sized flat brush, I'm going to mix up these two browns. And we're going to start by painting the body of our turkey right above the grass line. So right in the middle, right above the grass, we're going to paint just a little circle. We're painting it small to start, and then we're going to slowly make it bigger. So just paint a small circle. Let's make that circle bigger by adding a C shape to the front here. And going along the back too. We're going to come up around the top. Down. Let's do that one more time. Come around the top, down the back side, curl around. Let's get the basic shape for the little legs that our feet are going to be connected to. There's going to be one line right here going into the grass, one right here. Make sure you leave a space between them. Just a straight line going down. And then we're going to make this wider on the side at an angle, so it's like a triangle, but with a flat bottom. Just like that. Same thing on this side. All right. Let's make it a little bit bigger at the bottom here. I smooth out all the paint. Let's give it a little tail. Just flicking the paintbrush out the back, coming up, connecting it, make a little point. And make that thicker. Bring the top down. All right. Just get a little bit bigger in the front here. Smooth it out. Now, let's get this light brown. I don't even need to rinse my brush. I'm just gonna wipe a little bit of the extra off, grabbing this light brown. Just gonna take that and directly blend it right into the middle. Start in the middle and blend out. It should lighten up the whole body just a little bit. Don't go over the edges, just go right up to the edge. I just did a little bit there, but that's okay. Try to leave the dark brown all around the edges. I'm gonna wipe the extra paint off my brush, grab a little bit more of the light brown, and do that again. This should be starting to dry a little bit, which is good. You want it to be kind of halfway between wet and dry to be blending these colors in. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to grab a little bit of white and mix that white into the light brown first. and then come in, again, put it right in the middle, blending it in the middle, and then out. A little more. And then that should be good. All right. Let's grab a little bit of red paint, put it right here. I'm gonna get yellow ready as well too. We're just gonna maybe use a little bit of yellow in it right now, but we will be putting those feet in soon. So put the small flat brush to the side after you have rinsed it really good. We're gonna use our small round brush for this. Now the first thing I want to do is get my white paint. Since those feet are going to be yellow, I'm gonna go ahead and paint them in with the white first, because when I try to put this yellow directly on top of this green, it's gonna not turn out super great because this yellow is very see-through and you'll see the green through it. It'll take a ton of layers and it just won't look right. Adding this white will really help it just pop the first try. So we're gonna take this white and starting at the bottom of this little triangle we made for the leg, we're gonna paint straight down and then do 3 little toes. 1, 2, 3. Go back over them, smooth them out, maybe make them a little bit bigger. Same with the top. And then over here, we're doing the same thing. We're gonna come straight down, and then 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to keep the feet even with each other. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and do this with the head as well, just to get that in place, and then we're gonna mix up the color for the head. So let's get the white while we still have this on our brush. The head of our turkey is gonna come right out of this spot right here. So right where this side curves around, it's almost at the halfway point, a little bit higher than that. We're having this head come out. And we're just gonna have it come out with a straight line first, and I like to figure out where it's gonna end and then connect it from there to the body. So I want the head to come up to about right here, kind of looking at how big the body is, and I want to leave enough room at the top as well. Just gonna paint a little circle. And coming out of that, back. It's a little bit too much of an angle. I'm gonna make it bigger. All right. I want it to come down and connect here. If a little bit of brown gets mixed in, that's fine. Down on the back of that circle, straight down, curving in and back. it needs to be a bit thicker where it connects to the body. So I'm widening that and curving this line right here. Blending out the brown that got mixed in. Okay. I want to bring this head back a little bit more because I think it's at a little bit of a weird angle. So I'm just gonna add another line to the back of the head. Bring it down. I'm gonna put a beak on our turkey. Straight out and straight back. I give a little bit of a curve to the top of the beak. And there's going to be these little neck skin that the turkeys have, so we're going to paint that in here as well. Just coming down, making a little bit of a curve back, and one more right below that. All right, now it's time to go ahead and paint this tail in while we let that dry. I'm going to rinse my brush. And I think I'm going to go back to my medium flat brush for this. If yours is a little bit bigger than mine, it might not work. If you have one that's a bit on the smaller side like this, that might actually be best. So using our small flat brush, we're going to get this dark brown. And I'm going to follow along the back of the turkey. Just painting a line here. Back down to right about here, leaving a little bit of space between that and the tail. Coming out. Okay. We're going to come up, back down. Fill that in. Starting right where that comes down, going up, curving back down. Fill it in. Again, curve, back down. I'm going to do one or two more, I think. Let's go for two. A little bit smaller with this one. And fill it in. The same way we did with the body, we're going to grab some of that lighter brown, just put it right in the middle of each part of the tail. Pulling it down. See, I'm leaving the darker brown around the edges and I'm just blending it into the middle. Okay, I'm going to use this lighter brown coming in to paint a wing. So I'm coming down, up, just filling it in here. I'm going to curve around and meet it right here. Blend that out. A little bit in the body as well. I'm not going to get any more of this color. I'm just going to rub whatever is in my brush into the body, around the wing. Now I'm going to get some white paint, mix that again with this brown right into the wing. Just making that pop. Same color into the tail. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my brush. I'm gonna get this completely dry, and we're gonna move on to getting the color for that head. All right. I'm gonna use my small, I think I'm gonna use this really small flat brush that I got. So if you don't have one this small, you can use the small round brush. That would also work, but this one's gonna cover just a little bit more, so we're gonna use this small flat brush for mine. Using my white paint, I'm gonna get a little bit of red. I want this to be like a light pink. And I'm gonna get a little bit of yellow. And a little bit of this light brown. I want it to be like a light pink that has some skin tone in it. Or like a pinkish skin tone color with some brown in there. And now we're gonna put that all over the top of the head. Just avoiding the beak area to come down. This has one coat on it. I'm actually going to go ahead and use my smaller brush. I think that'll make things easier. So the small round brush, I'm going to add some more white to this. Lighten it up a bunch. And then come back in. Not covering up the edges, but just coming right up to the edges. Now a little bit more white. Blend it in. One more time. All right. Now it's time for the yellow. I'm going to put that into the beak. And the feet. And I'm also going to bring it in to these feathers, tail, 2, Just following the curve. Painting these lines in here. All right. I'll need some black paint, and I need to get my hair dryer and dry this beak and eye area primarily. Now, let's get our black paint to start. I'm going to paint a circle right here, right along this edge above the beak. Make sure you don't have excess water on your brush, or you could drip water on there like I just did. And then another eye right here on the other side of the nose, or beak. Right? Now I did that first so it would get a little bit of a head start drying while I went in and did the red, starting at the top of the beak and the back, straight down, make a teardrop shape. Do this bottom one too. It's like two teardrops right on top of each other. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush. Let's go ahead and dry this off. And I'm going to come in a little bit of white right into the eyes, just a little bit right here, and another little dot right here, or little highlights. Now you can take that white, I might mix it with a little bit of brown, just not bright white, and come in with a few highlights. How much time you spend on this is up to you. So this is part of the fun of painting with acrylics, I think, is just coming in with these little details at the end. And then you can also come in with black, paint in a nostril, a little bit of water on my brush, and maybe a smile. You can outline the whole thing if you'd like, or just parts. That is totally up to you. What you do from here, I will let you decide, because this is where we're going to end our painting together for today. So thank you so much for following along. I hope you learned something about painting with acrylics, and that you'll join me again very soon for a future video. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and take care. Bye-bye.